Okay, time to do another book review. So today we're doing the book by Mat Auryn, Psychic Witch, A Metaphysical Guide to Meditation, Magic and Manifestation. This is actually a book that's been on my list for a very, very long time, ever since he brought it out actually, and finally got around to getting it and reading it. I actually want to start with the design. I actually just want to check, because the design is amazing. Just check the credits. Where are the credits again? I'll check who actually contributed to the artwork and the design itself. Here we go. Okay. Book design by Samantha Penn, cover design by Kevin Brown, and cover illustration and interior illustrations by Tim Foley. Remainder of illustrations by Llewellyn Art Department. Okay, so a few people contributed to the design of this, but it's not just the actual artwork, it's the design of the book. It's the care that was put into the presentation of it. I mean, it's a nice, simple, straightforward design and artwork, but it's so effective. But I think you have things like this, but in between chapters. So a lot of people start their next chapter on an odd page, and sometimes you have a blank page. So as you're going through the book, you read, and you come to a blank page. So what do you do with a blank page? Fill it in with some artwork, and some beautiful artwork as well. So you'll find that throughout the book we have the owl, and you also have the eye, and the decals around the chapter titles. There's just so much care been put into the actual book, into the presentation of it, that it's a marvelous, lovely book to actually read, apart from the information. The information in this book is incredible. It really is good. I'll just show you the back cover quickly. Alright, so the information is great. Now, Psychic Witch, what you might immediately think of is it will be a book about developing your psychic abilities, which it is, but it's more than just that. So it's not just a book about how to open your third eye or to see auras or things like that. It goes into actual magical practice, and it starts you right from the beginning, right from sitting down and meditating, right through to developing your skills. And it actually, you can use this book as a grimoire. So it will, as I said, it will take you right from the beginning, meditation, and it will take you right through to how to cast spells and how to do healing. It goes into the 3 bodies. I'll get there just now. Just want to show you. You go through the chapters. There's a whole list of exercises. I know there's a lot of exercises. There really are, as you can see. So it really does preliminary focus, psychic immersion, psychic affirmations, learning to focus with basic meditation, treasure chest for stress, cocoon of relaxation. So this is meditation and getting you into a relaxed state, which then develops into trance states and grounding work. It goes through psychic cleansing, and then we go into spell to awaken your psychic abilities. So it's not just meditations and visualizations, there's also spell works in here which you can use to develop your psychic senses. But as I said, it's not just about developing your psychic senses in the sense of opening your third eye. It's about developing your psychic senses in order to do actual spell work and actual magic. So it really is a great book. And let me just go back to the chapters. So what you find is, as I said, you start off with meditation, relaxation, and then you go through tuning in processes, which is tuning into the actual psychic senses themselves, going through extrasensory perception. He explains all the different clairs extensively. Purification and shielding, so you've got your protection work and your cleansing, and then it goes into, there's 3 chapters, actually 4 chapters on the actual soul. So this splits the soul into 3 parts, and it discusses them in terms of the lower self, middle self, and higher self. And it is very much from a perspective. There's a lot of influence from the Anderson's fairy tradition in here, and also Laurie Cabot, who was one of Mat Auryn's teachers, if I'm not mistaken. So there is some Wicca, there is some fairy tradition in here, but the discussion on the three soul parts, the 3 selves, is very extensive. It actually has a lot of aspects from Kabbalah, from traditional witchcraft, and really discusses the soul in great depth. I don't agree with everything, and everybody is different. They have a different, or they learn things differently. It doesn't mean that either are wrong or right. It just means that the teaching that Mat got as he progressed through his magical career is just slightly different to someone else's, like mine, for instance. But the things that I don't agree with are so minor, it's hardly even mentioning. But I will anyway, just to point out, how simple these differences are. The higher self, for instance, there's 2 things here. The higher self, for instance, he mentions that the higher self has access to all knowledge, to the Akashic records and everything else. From my Kabbalistic teachings, I understood that as being the lower self. And then there was also a mention of, I'm just trying to find it, of the Ruach in relation to the higher self, which I didn't find here. The idea of air and breath, because he's relating the element of air to the head and to the higher self, which makes sense because in many regards, in many traditions, we do place the element of air in the head, and which again relates to the higher self. However, he does state here the idea of air and breath and spirit are linked almost universally as the breath of life, and even the word spirit comes from the Latin word spiritus, which translates as breath. Similarly, the word for spirit in Hebrew is ruach, which translates to wind, etc., etc. And the difficulty here is that ruach is actually the middle self in Judaic magic, Jewish magic, in Kabbalah. So, it gets a bit sticky. And as I said, don't agree with everything, but majority of it is sound. It's absolutely fantastic. This is an excellent book for anybody to read, whether you are a beginner, and especially for a beginner, because as I said, it takes you right from the beginning, takes you right through. What I did find really, really fantastic, he goes through, after discussing the souls, let me just go here first. After discussing the soul parts, he discusses the elements themselves, the 4 elements and spirit. And then after discussing the elements, he goes into the planetary aspects, terrestrial energy, the earth, and then goes into the planetary forces itself. And then he goes into this multi-dimensional manifestation, which is how we can work with the different energy bodies and the different energy aspects in order to do magic. There's a lot of mention of the 3 cauldrons, which is from the Cauldron of Posey from Amagen. And this is actually, I hope if Matt ever watches this, I hope he doesn't mind me reading this part. Multi-dimensional magic, it's only it's about just over a page long. It's a bit more than, I suppose, fair use allows, but I just want to read this because the explanation here for how magic works, and pertaining to the different, because this is, as I said, this is a chapter about the actual energy bodies. So going from the physical to the etheric, to the astral, to the emotional, mental, and into the psychic and divine, and relating those to the three different soul parts, the three cauldrons, the three worlds, etc. But this explanation it really is one of the best I've ever read, and so I wanted to read it here. And I suppose, apart from it being a bit extensive compared to fair use, you could always pause the video and read it yourself, I suppose. So reading is not going to make much of a difference. To perform successful magic, we start with the physical. We may gather physical ingredients such as candles, herbs, poppets, crystals, etc. We may even hold our physical prompt gesture of crossing our fingers. This begins the energy work. We then create an energetic container for it in the etheric by creating space for the magic. This is expressed as clearing the mind and getting into an altered state, setting aside a time to perform the magic and casting a circle or creating sacred space. By doing this, we are setting the stage for creation. Next, we push that container of magic along with what's in it, which is often referred to as a thought form, into the astral by filling it with our willpower and willing our intentions to manifest. We then push this thought form into the emotional by conjuring up and aligning with the emotional energy we wish to manifest and directing that into the spell. Root workers and conjurers are known for playing classical blues and jazz music, which evokes the emotional power of the working that they're doing in the background while performing their magic. If you're creating magic to manifest love, you evoke those inner feelings of love and bliss to be attached to your thought form. We then move the thought form into the mental by expressing our desire clearly. This is done through mentally or verbally affirming what you desire, writing out a petition, speaking the words of a spell, chanting or singing. In the next stage of our magic, we push the thought form into the psychic by clearly envisioning the outcome we desire and visualizing how that desire may be manifested. The last step in our formula for casting a spell, we send it out into the divine by petitioning deity to intervene on our behalf. This can be expressed as witches raising the cone of power and sending the thought form out into the cosmos to be done. We surrender the thought form to the highest levels of reality and release our attachment to it. Once this is done and the actual magical casting is finished, it then returns to us like a boomerang. It is returned to us by ensuring all of our energy is in alignment with what we are seeking to obtain. When every part of ourselves is in alignment with our magic, we become our magic, and it is almost impossible for that magic to not become a reality. We honor the divine and align with our higher will, and we act in service to others, which initiates the manifestation back into our lives. From the divine, it enters into the psychic as we envision that the spell has already manifested and happened, and refusing to envision any outcome that contradicts our desire. From the psychic, it enters the mental by knowing that it is already being fulfilled and not allowing our thoughts that contradict our desire to override our manifestation. It then enters the emotional by feeling that it is happening and ensuring that we are emotionally optimistic about its manifestation. It's then brought down into the astral by remaining utterly steadfast in our willpower and refusing anything less than results. It then begins anchoring into the etheric when we create space within our lives for it to manifest. It then becomes a physical reality that we take the initiative of action, which is an essential but often overlooked element in spellcasting. Physical activity is like creating an outlet for all of this energy to flow through into the physical plane. For example, you are not going to manifest the perfect relationship for you if you are not actively putting yourself into social situations where you meet someone. If you've performed all of these steps but sit on your laurels, there's a strong chance that nothing is going to change, nor is your soulmate going to burst through the walls of your living room only to find you on your couch. So I just think it's a brilliant explanation of how when we're doing spell work and magic manifestation work, how it goes through the different layers, the different energy bodies, the different energy emanations, and then once it's been put out there, it then has to come back into the physical, and the process it takes to come back into the physical. So really, really good. Then he goes through the various different energy bodies and layers, and explains those in great depth. And then there's a multi-dimensional magic, mind magic. The process here that he takes to do the magic work itself, excellent, absolutely amazing, with one of the exercises. And then it goes into actual spells you can do, so it gives you examples of spell working. And what's great is he targets the actual soul or body or self you would be working with in this particular thing. So this one would be your lower self, this would be the soul alignment of all selves, and then the middle self. It goes into the planetary power you can work with, and also into the actual psychic ability, the actual clair that you will be working with, the psychic sense. So really, I love this book. It is an absolutely amazing book. And as I said, for anybody who is a beginner, absolutely fantastic. He really does take you from A to Z throughout the entire process. And each exercise builds on itself. So you start with a meditation exercise and relaxation, those exercises, and then you move on to the cleansing of protection and shielding, and then you move on to the different three selves or the three souls, and you do exercises to align them, to work with them individually, and then to align them, and then you continue through how to activate, or it goes into how to cast a circle. It goes into how to open the energy for one of the elements, so you can pull in that energy and experience it. And also it goes into the planetary aspects and how to work with those individually, how to open the elements or the planetary aspects on your hand, so you can create an energy ball which is infused with the intention that you're getting. It goes into everything. It goes from A to Z. It really does. Absolutely fantastic book. I definitely recommend this, and you will find a link in the little icon, the info icon. Click that and it should open the panel which will send you to Amazon, and you can purchase the book from there. And obviously if you follow that link, it is an affiliate link, and therefore I will get a small commission from the sale. It doesn't affect the price of the purchase of the book, regardless of whether you go through the link or not, but it is much appreciated if you do, because it helps me out. Alright, so Mat Auryn, Psychic Witch, brilliant book. And I just want to show you the design again. It's just, I love the care and the, these images in between the chapters. Just, it's marvelous. It really is. Never even thought of doing that myself. Right. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy the book. Cheers for now. Bye bye.